Piece. All 32 countries doing business at the World Cup are going through their final paces. Well, while Spain has named Fernando Hiero as the new manager to take over the 2010 World Cup champions after sacking coach Julen Lopetegui earlier today. Well, North America celebrated an announcement that will see them host the FIFA World Cup in 2026. Well, to chat to us about all those things concerning the World Cup is football analyst and football expert Christophe Bongo. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's great to have you.
I know it is time. It is football time.
Well, a big talking point today, from the moment we woke up on Twitter today, it was all about the Spanish.
Yes.
The coach leaving literally a day before kickoff.
Well, he got fired.
Yes.
I think the countries that are quite reluctant to fire coach, it is South Africa. But the rest of the world, when we come to a national team coach, there is no time to waste. He got fired because they want somebody whose mind will be solely to watch the World Cup and move forward. The fact that he got offer from another team and they accepted it, which means he has been talking to them while he was preparing the team, so they found it unethical and they fired him.
And with that said, do you see Spain repeating their heroics at the World Cup?
With him or not him, I don't see Spain repeating what they've done in South Africa because I personally believe that when you look at all the game plays, the team they selected in the world, how it's going, I'm giving it much to Germany playing the final against Argentina. And the team that got matured, Argentina, the players are playing the last World Cup. They want to achieve something. And Germany is because of the consistency. They started the project in 2010 when they brought a lot of young players in South Africa, and you saw them in 2014, and now it is large age of maturity. So I'm giving those two teams a big chance.
All right, and let's look at some of the African countries that will be participating. I think I haven't really been feeling the World Cup fever up until last week. Yes, up until last week when I saw Team Nigeria. I think they're doing a lot of campaigning. We've seen them so visible on social media. We're loving their kit. Out of those teams who are representing Africa, who do you foresee will go further than maybe perhaps the knockoff stages?
Well, what I tell people who are watching World Cup, and especially as Africans, there are many things that happen besides playing football. So if you want to enjoy football, you want to enjoy African countries, just want them to surprise you. Don't go with an expectation, and allow them to surprise you. They will play good football. They will achieve many things. And all we hope is something that we have not seen. So we are talking about Senegal 2002. They came with something extraordinary, beating France, their former colony, and going all the way to the quarterfinal. We saw Ghana doing the same thing in South Africa. Nigeria, the most qualified country in the World Cup 6 times, they never reached the stage that they can pass last 16. Egypt, since 1934, when they played the first time, they had to wait until 90, and then they have to wait again to now that they're playing. So let's watch the football. Let's enjoy African flair. Let's just watch football. And well, SABC is a place that I think people will be watching. Absolutely,
Chris. And in the host take on Saudi Arabia, obviously, tomorrow, what do you make of that? How will the Russians do you think? And, you know, do you think they'll really represent the way they're expected to? I think, you know, when you take a look at Russia as a country, there's a whole lot of political stuff happening, you know, behind the scenes. What do you make of it?
For me, when you look at Russia, when people ask me that question, I tell them, go back to the 9th of June 2010. How did you feel? Because Russia is in the same situation in South Africa in 2010. It was the first time they're organizing the World Cup. It is the World Cup that many people did not want to see them organizing. The whole Europe wanted the World Cup to cancel. Even England, 3 months ago, they wanted to boycott the World Cup. So many things happened, almost similar to what happened to South Africa. So the best way for you to qualify how Russians are feeling today is go back on the 9th of June, when Bafana, they were around Santon. How did you feel? That's how the Russians will feel. In the field, it is exactly the same thing. Our first game, opening game, it was against Mexico. And if the first goal, it is a Russian goal, the World Cup will lit, and they will have a totally different World Cup. And in today's world, with the social media, that's what people expect. They want Russia to score the first goal. But I am going to Russia winning the first game.
All right. And then North America, Chris, having been named host of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
We just changed something. They were not named, they were voted. So, which means somebody had to choose them to do so. Personally, I am a bit disappointed. I'm disappointed because if we go back to the reason
who else would you have expected?
It was Morocco. Morocco had a beautiful bid. I had an opportunity of actually being in Morocco, seeing their bid. They had a beautiful bid. They have everything. Why? If you love football, you like the World Cup to be in the country where everything is happening in the same place, so that you have the flavor, you have the fever of the game itself, so that you enjoy the movement. You have a lot of people in the same place, like we had in South Africa. The whole 30 days of the World Cup in 2010, it was in one place. When you have it in Mexico, you have it in Canada, and you have it in the United States, it is vast. And so what's happened is you polarize the feeling of the World Cup and become just like
a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, like what we saw in 2008 when we went to Beijing for the Olympics, and it was everywhere. It was not in one place. You have to travel to Shanghai. You have to go to the island for you to watch the different games. You need a football or sport event to be in one place for you to capture the audience. But as an African, I would have loved to have a second World Cup in Africa.
Oh, Chris, that's where we'll leave it. Unfortunately, I didn't even get to ask you a question about my favorite team, Brazil, but maybe another time. That's football analyst and journalist Christophe Bongo talking to us about all things World Cup. Time for us to take a quick break. Peter will be back with more of your news at the